Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever walked into an older Catholic church and noticed that low gate separating the pews from the main altar? That's an altar rail, and you've probably also noticed they've pretty much vanished from most modern churches. Well, today we're going to dive into a great analysis from Epistles Online that lays out 6 powerful arguments for why bringing this sacred boundary back is about way more than just architecture. It's about a powerful act of faith.
So let's just jump right in with some of the big questions this explainer is going to tackle. You gotta wonder, why did these physical boundaries, the ones that separate the sacred from the ordinary, just, vanish from our churches? What exactly happened?
And here's a big one a lot of people wonder about. Was there some kind of official church law that actually required getting rid of altar rails? A lot of folks think so, but we're going to see what the author of our source material has to say about that.
And think about this. How can a simple rail, just a piece of architecture really, actually change our awareness? How does it impact our interior reverence, what's going on inside us during the Mass?
Beyond just the physical, what about the symbolic? What's the deeper theological meaning that's packed into that simple structure?
And maybe the most important question of all, could bringing them back actually be a practical, real-world step toward renewing belief in the real presence? I mean, that's at the very heart of our faith.
Okay, so to get into all of this, we're drawing from a fantastic analysis called The Sacred Boundary, written by the author of www.epistles.online. We're going to cover the main points, but I really encourage you to head over to his site and read the full piece. It's definitely worth your time.
All right, let's make sure we're all on the same page. An altar rail is simply that low barrier separating the sanctuary, where the altar is, from the nave, which is where we, the congregation, sit. For centuries, this was just how churches were built. But the author points out that after the big reforms of the Second Vatican Council back in the 60s, they just started disappearing. And that kind of gets us to the heart of the issue.
See, the core argument here is that taking out the rails did way more than just change the interior design. The author argues it actually changed our focus. It kind of shifted our attention away from God at the altar and put it more on ourselves in the pews. And the result? A weakening of reverence. Now, this isn't just a vague feeling he has. To back this up, the author lays out 6 very specific and powerful reasons why bringing altar rails back could be a huge step in the right direction. So let's get into them.
He breaks his reasons down into 2 main parts. First up, we're talking about protecting the sacred space itself. This is all about the practical and, yes, even the legal side of things.
Okay, so reason number 1, and this is a big one, there was never an official mandate from the church to get rid of the rails. Number 2, they serve a really simple purpose. They're a protective boundary for the sanctuary. And number 3, they actually help uphold church law that's already on the books.
And that third point about church law? It's absolutely crucial. The author points directly to Canon 12010, which basically says that a sacred place is only for things that serve worship, piety, and religion, nothing else. So, the altar rail, he argues, isn't just a fence. It's the physical signpost of that law, a constant visual reminder that this space is different. It's set apart.
Okay, so that's the practical side. Now let's move into the second part, where we get into the really deep theological and symbolic reasons. This is all about encountering the real presence.
So the next 3 reasons really dig into the spiritual side of things. Reason 4? The rail gives us a specific place to receive Holy Communion with reverence, especially while kneeling. Reason 5? That very act, that posture, helps foster a deeper, more concrete belief in the real presence. And finally, reason 6? The rail itself is a powerful, powerful symbol.
And that 6th reason about symbolism is just beautiful. The way the author explains it is that the rail is like a boundary between heaven and earth, right there in the church. The nave, where we are, represents us, the church on earth. The church militant, as it's called. And the sanctuary, that represents heaven. It's where the divine liturgy happens. The rail becomes the gate, the place where we approach heaven to receive Christ. It's a really powerful image.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, the author makes a really compelling practical point. He says, look, we can spend tons of money on big conferences and programs trying to renew Eucharistic reverence. Or we could do something much simpler and maybe even more effective. Restore the altar rails. It's a tangible lesson in reverence that's present at every single Mass.
Now look, we've really just scratched the surface of his argument here.
If you want to get the full picture with all the historical context and his personal insights, you've got to go to his website. It's www.epistles.online.
And what you'll find there is a really valuable resource for Catholics who are looking for a balanced perspective. He positions his work as neither modernist nor ultra-traditionalist. Instead, his goal is to confront the challenges facing the faith head-on. He's very open that his work is about fighting things like clericalism, liberalism, and modernism.
So if what he's doing resonates with you, he really invites you to support his apostolate. And there are a few ways you can do that. You can pray for his work, you can share his posts with other people, or you can subscribe. It all helps him keep the mission going and keep the content freely available for everyone.
And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. It's so easy to forget how much our physical surroundings can shape our spiritual lives. So the real question isn't just about architecture, is it? It's about us. Can restoring one simple physical boundary really help us redefine and maybe even reclaim our spiritual reverence? Something to think about.